Today's the anniversary of a crime, a terrible, heinous, unspeakable act that tore at the very fabric of the society in which it was committed. An apparently lone criminal, in the most brazen way imaginable, broke a law and a tradition that had existed for 55 years among the fine, upstanding citizens of Montgomery, Alabama, in the good old US of A. So what was this unspeakable act, this depraved, antisocial behaviour that resonates across the miles and the years? Who was the criminal who on this day, December the 1st, 1955, set in train a series of events which would shake America, well, part of America, to its bigoted, racist, ignorant core? The criminal's name was Rosa Parks, and the act that would forever guarantee her infamy was simple. Rosa Parks sat on a bus in a seat reserved for white people, and that was against the law. Segregation by colour was commonplace in the southern states of North America. The Civil War may have ended slavery almost a century earlier, but Confederate bigotry lived on, and there was just no place for race mixing in Alabama. Not until Rosa Parks came along. Rosa Parks refused to give up her seat for a white passenger, and all hell broke loose. The bus driver, James Blake, demanded that she give up her seat or he'd have her arrested. 42-year-old Rosa refused. The police were called, and Mrs. Parks was duly arrested. She was charged with violating the Montgomery City Racial Segregation Code. Yes, that really was a thing. Chapter 6, Section 11 to be exact, before being bailed by friends from the civil rights movement. Rosa was fined $10 with $4 costs, which she appealed on the grounds that segregation by race is unconstitutional. This kept lawyers wrangling for months, during which time the city of Montgomery experienced a bus boycott that cost the company a fortune. The boycott was announced from pulpits all across Montgomery just 3 days after Rosa's arrest on Sunday, December the 4th. Some 40,000 black commuters boycotted public transport the very next day, Monday the 5th of December, in a planned one-day boycott that actually continued for more than a year. Rosa's appeal dragged on through the courts until a separate case ended in the Supreme Court with the ruling that segregation was indeed unconstitutional. So although Rosa's case wasn't the straw that broke this particularly bigoted camel's back, her case and the massive action it inspired was certainly a huge part of the picture. Sometimes it's necessary to break truly unjust laws. Sometimes our very liberty depends upon it. This session, the UK government has been taking the new police, crime, sentencing and courts bill through Parliament. It's currently nearing the end of its passage through the Lords and is likely to become law very soon, as there's little chance of Boris's sycophantic backbenchers opposing it. Among other erosions of civil liberties, it aims to make anti-government demonstration illegal. Really? They're going after our right to protest now. This, yet again, is the stuff of dictatorship. The Nazis did the same thing shortly after gaining control of the Reichstag. It's a blow both to our individual liberties and to our collective democracy. This bill gives both the police and the Home Secretary the right to ban any protest simply because they disagree with it. It's about political censorship that criminalises disagreement with government policy and carries up to 10 years in prison. So much for freedom of expression. Even a lone individual with a placard can find themselves arrested under this. Not only that, police won't even need the dubious justification of suspicion for stop and search anymore. A gut feeling or a hunch will be enough. When debating the bill in its second reading last July, former Home Secretary and former Prime Minister Theresa May remarked, "There will be people who will have seen scenes of protest and asked why aren't the government doing something. The answer in many cases may simply be that we live in a democratic, free society." So my question to you is this. Do you have as much courage as a little woman from Alabama whose protest on a Montgomery bus drive was instrumental in bringing down a piece of legislation that, like our government, had been tolerated for far too long?